Killer Croc versus Luke Cage, the Beast versus the Hero of Steel. Who would win? Killer Croc, real name Waylon Jones, was born with a rare disease that gradually transformed his body into a reptilian form. Outcast and abused by society during his childhood, he fell into crime and became one of Batman's most dangerous enemies. Croc's body possesses a natural armor-like skin, extraordinary strength, rapid regeneration, and endurance far beyond that of a human. Underwater, he moves like a real monster, with a brutal hunting instinct and unbridled aggression. Luke Cage, a former petty criminal, changed his life after a secret experiment. The experiment gave him impenetrable skin and terrible physical strength. Luke Cage is known as the indestructible man, who can withstand machine gun bullets, explosions, and even super-powered attacks. Not only is Cage strong, he also possesses the steadfast will and heart of a hero, using his strength to protect the people. Before we dive into the analysis, please click the subscribe button. Please remember to turn on notifications and click the bell icon. Thank you very much. Killer Croc, real name Waylon Jones, was born in a harsh slum in Tampa, Florida. Since childhood, he suffered from a rare genetic disorder, causing his appearance to change in the direction of a reptile. His skin developed hard scales, his teeth grew sharp. The disease did not destroy Jones, but turned him into an entity with strength and endurance far beyond human limits. With a body like a biological machine, Killer Croc possesses the ability to lift, tear, and throw huge, heavy objects easily. His reptilian characteristics give him the ability to swim quickly, adapt perfectly to the water environment, and can hold his breath underwater for a long time. Not only relying on instinct, he also trained in hand-to-hand combat skills, turning himself into a dangerous opponent in every encounter. Killer Croc's achievements clearly demonstrate his formidable strength. He has crushed and defeated giant crocodiles with his bare hands, ripped the heads off demons in brutal combat, and even overwhelmed the infamous venom-powered Bane. Croc's durability is equally terrifying, as he has survived extreme situations such as being buried under the rubble of a collapsed building. Killer Croc is not only a mutant with a terrifying appearance, but also a symbol of extreme adaptation and ultimate survival instinct, making him one of the most formidable enemies any hero must fear. Since childhood, Waylon Jones grew up in an environment filled with darkness and cruelty. After losing his mother and being abandoned by his father, he was left with only his alcoholic aunt, who often took out her anger and violence on his young body. A childhood marked by both physical and mental wounds that nurtured resentment. As an adult, Croc quickly realizes that the criminal world can bring him not only money, but also the recognition he has always craved. The turning point comes when he sets foot in Gotham, a city where darkness and ambition go hand in hand. Here, Croc begins his path to asserting his position by killing Squid, a rising crime boss and former FBI agent who betrayed his ideals to become a gangster. Croc takes control of the Tobacconist Club, a lavish club run by Rupert Thorne, and immediately puts himself in the spotlight of the underworld. Croc's rise quickly attracts other notorious people, including the Joker and Batman. Joker, with his cunning nature, immediately approaches him, offering to cooperate to eliminate Batman, but deep down harbors the intention of betraying him. However, Croc is not easily fooled. Batman in Gotham is a clear demonstration of his brutal nature and strategy. As the fight raged, Croc used his overwhelming physical advantage to his advantage. His punches could crack concrete, and each footstep echoed like a predator's roar. He attacked with the ferocity of a swamp reptile, trying to crush his opponent with pure strength. Batman, of course, is not one to be trifled with, constantly dodging and countering with cold precision. But Croc is more than just a brawny man. He knows how to force Batman into tight, dark corners, where the Dark Knight's technological and tactical advantages are limited. Every swing, every throw from Croc is aimed at breaking his opponent's will to fight. Croc is undaunted by Batman's presence. In his glowing red eyes, hidden behind his rough scales, is pride and belief that he can defeat the man considered a legend of Gotham. The moment Batman escapes the siege, using his intelligence and experience to turn the tide, only makes the fight more tense. Croc charges again, strong and indomitable, as if each defeat only makes him more eager to prove himself. Among the ranks of the Dark Knight's most fearsome enemies, Killer Croc always stands out as a terrible challenge. Batman himself has admitted that Croc is the only person he cannot defeat if forced to face in a fair fight. A single swing of his arm is enough to break a concrete wall, and in a moment of cruelty, Croc is completely capable of killing Batman with just one decisive blow. However, Batman is a master tactician, and he understands that to defeat Croc, preparation, planning, and sometimes support from allies is needed. It was Jason Todd who fought alongside Batman, helping him create a balance against Croc's overwhelming strength. The combination of experience, technology, and teamwork created a rare opportunity for Batman to overcome this giant enemy. Without strategic intelligence and timely support, the Dark Knight could completely fall before Killer Croc's claws and unstoppable strength. This is what makes Croc one of the most memorable and haunting opponents in Batman's fighting career. I really hope you subscribe to the channel. It will help us a lot, and you are the best. Thank you so much. Born and raised in Harlem as Carl Lucas, Cage wasn't always the hero he would become. As a young member of a street gang, he lived a life of violence and dreamed of becoming a notorious gangster in the city. Luke Cage has always been considered a special case among superheroes. Initially, his physical strength only fluctuated between 2 and 5 tons, not enough to compare with the heavyweight warriors of the Marvel Universe. However, Luke's highlight is not pure strength, but his almost impenetrable defense. His skin is likened to reinforced steel, able to withstand bullets, blades, and even violent explosions. It is this durability that makes Luke a living shield for his teammates in many battles. There was a time when Luke was wanted for allegedly killing Iron Fist, forcing him to live in hiding. During this period, he was accidentally caught up in a fierce confrontation with Bushmaster. The battle pushed Luke to the brink of death, and at the same time, his body underwent a second Power Man regeneration process. From there, Luke's strength was upgraded to a whopping 25 tons and continued to grow as he accumulated more combat experience over the years. Today, Luke Cage is said to have reached a strength threshold of around 50 tons. His body is tougher than ever, and even his costume was designed to accommodate his new powers, including a signature steel-like jacket that is both iconic and defensive. Although his experience fighting crime has taught Luke Cage to control and modulate his attacks, he often breaks out in situations of extreme stress. Cage once lifted a giant bulldozer above his head and threw it far away without showing any signs of effort. With his bare hands, Cage can bend a metal baseball bat as if it were a thin branch. In a fight with Rhino, a notorious opponent who has fought the Hulk, he defeated him with a single punch. This incredible strength also allows Cage to move massive objects or go toe-to-toe with alien warriors, creating minor geological tremors during the fight. And he almost casually carried a giant tractor trailer across 7 city blocks just because he couldn't start the engine. The explosive power of each of Cage's punches can send his opponents flying into the air. Not only his hands, but his legs also possess extraordinary strength, allowing him to jump with the same force as the Hulk, covering enormous distances in a single bound. When comparing Luke Cage's strength to familiar faces like the Thing or Colossus, the Thing, with his solid rock body and ability to lift hundreds of tons, is always considered the standard of pure strength. Colossus, with his entire body covered in organic steel, also possesses equivalent strength, while also being able to withstand damage from energy attacks and terrible collisions. Compared to these two icons, Luke Cage at 50 tons is somewhat inferior in absolute strength, but he possesses outstanding durability and superior flexibility. Unlike the heavy and somewhat inflexible body of the Thing, Luke can move nimbly in urban areas, participating in street battles without losing effectiveness. While Colossus needs to transform to reach the highest level of durability, Cage maintains his impenetrable steel skin at all times, making him a warrior who is almost always ready. With Luke, I guess 75 tons is his current peak now. Now, that doesn't mean he can't get taller, but it also doesn't mean he's slow. He wouldn't be able to fight Hulk, Hyperion, or any other really heavyweight for long. It doesn't really matter. He likes Namor, the Thing, and saying Ares wouldn't try too hard. Although he doesn't have many notable lifting feats, as he compares to characters like Thing and Namor, and not just an exception, but the norm, at
his peak. Cage would have been over 100 tons based on what other characters can lift. Battle. Luke Cage discovers Killer Croc's trail in the city's complex sewer system, where the musty smell and the sound of running water whisper danger. He follows the trail, walking deep into the dark tunnel, where Croc has an absolute advantage in terms of terrain. As Cage approaches, Croc suddenly rushes out of the darkness, using sharp claws and muscular strength to launch lightning attacks. His ferocity and speed make the battle fierce. Croc quickly realizes the surprising truth. Luke's steel-like skin is almost immune to scratches. The successive blows leave no trace but anger in the reptilian monster's eyes. Croc changes tactics, dragging Cage into the murky water below. Here, he fully exploits his swimming ability and underwater strength, constantly attacking from hidden corners, trying to drown his opponent. Luke was pushed into a difficult situation, but with his survival instinct and street fighting experience, he quickly turned the situation around. Cage persistently dragged Croc to shore, where his advantage in water combat was no longer fully utilized. The two continued to throw punches, causing concrete walls to crack, water pipes to burst, creating a chaotic scene. Luke realized Croc's fatal weakness. He was easily agitated and lost control when anger clouded his mind. With sharp provocations, Cage made Croc roar in rage and attack without any strategy. That was the moment Luke had been waiting for. Each of his punches landed like a sledgehammer. The first punch hit Croc in the chest. The sound was like a small explosion, causing him to stagger and crack his outer scales. The second punch hit Croc's jaw, sending him flying backwards and slamming into the concrete wall, cracking the entire wall. Croc. Realizing that he cannot physically hurt Luke, Croc goes berserk and loses control, leaving only his animal instincts. He roars in despair and anger. Luke Cage is a seasoned fighter. He quickly realizes his weakness in the water and is smart enough to change the terrain of the battle to his advantage. Killer Croc acts mostly on instinct, making him predictable when anger overwhelms him. He takes advantage of the opening, unleashing his full body strength to lock his opponent in one blow, keeping Croc immobile in the roaring water. And the winner? Luke Cage.
I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's it for today's video. Thanks a lot.